You probably thought this video was all about Cedar Hills, Utah, and everything you needed to know about it. Well, I got news for you. It is. I'll be covering some pros and cons, some growth potential and predictions, and along the way, I'll be giving you some free resources that you can use that are super helpful, whether you're moving or whether you're just not moving. And if we haven't met before, my name's Cole, the easygoing realtor, and I help people with real estate needs in this neck of the woods. So if that's you, reach out in the link below. Cedar Hills is probably one of the most forgotten cities in all of Utah County. Like, if I were to get a bunch of people together, drop a pin on a map in Cedar Hills, most people would probably guess that's Alpine or Highland, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because Alpine and Highland are not just the most expensive cities, but the safest cities in all of Utah. So to be confused with those guys, you're in a good spot. But as we'll get into, Cedar Hills is very different from Alpine and Highland, unfortunately, and we'll get into that. But first, let's talk about the location. It's right up against the Rocky Mountains, which is my favorite place to be. You have American Fork Canyon, which there's a lot of fun things to do. Last week, I took my daughter, my 4-year-old, rock climbing for the first time, and that was a lot of fun. There's hundreds of rock climbing routes. If you download Mountain Project, the app, it's free, and you can find all sorts of routes up there and know what ratings there are and whatnot. But you also have Timpanogos Cave, which is a paved switchback trail. Really pretty, kind of steep though, so I wouldn't take younger kids. Maybe 8 and older would have fun because once you get to the top, there's a beautiful cave that they do paid tours through. You also have Tibble Fork Reservoir, which is a small reservoir. There's no motorized boats or anything on it. It's just paddle boards, kayaks, things like that. Fun place for families to swim or just anybody to go and swim. You also have really just beautiful hikes up there, biking, all sorts of fun stuff. As far as other fun things to do in the Cedar Hills area other than doing stuff at your house, there's a couple of parks and a golf course. The rest is really just residential development. You have to go to American Fork or, other parts of Alpine, Highland area, Lehigh, if you want to go and have fun at a commercial facility like where you pay to go in and have fun, restaurants, things like that, you're going to have to drive outside of the city. That's why it's so forgettable, is because no one goes to Cedar Hills for anything unless you live there. There's some good and bad to that. Typically, when neighborhoods are separated from commercial areas, they're more quiet, which is great. But in this case, Cedar Hills only has a couple of roads that lead to and from commercial areas where people typically travel for work or shopping. And so traffic can get horrendous. Everyone's going the same place in the morning. Everyone's going the same place in the evening. It's just bad. And I want to clarify, it's just the traffic that's bad. The neighborhoods are actually pretty quiet, but the traffic is also really bad for Alpine and Highland because they're in the same area, using the same roads. It's just not great traffic. And you'd think with it having so much in common with Alpine and Highland, being in the same area, having quiet neighborhoods, that it would be safe. But even Utahns would be shocked to know this. Cedar Hills is less safe than 95% of all other Utah cities. If you live there, you have a 1 in 29 chance of falling victim of a property or violent crime. Just violent crimes alone, you're a 1 in 498 chance. That's still not great compared to the rest of America. And it's 5 times more crime than if you were to just cross the road and move to Alpine instead. This is really shocking because Cedar Hills is no slum. It is very expensive to live there. The houses are nice. The location is beautiful. But there's still that crime that, don't ask me why, those are the numbers. But if you were to live there, what's the economic growth potential like? And as we covered before, there's not a whole lot of commercial there. And it's also pretty developed already. In fact, just to give you an example, right now at the time of this video, there are only 4 land listings that could develop a residential home on it. You also have, in 2023 and 2024 so far this year, those 2 timeframes combined, there's only been 1 new build home sold on the MLS. That tells me that Cedar Hills is very tied to the rest of the market now. It's not going to grow any faster than it. It's not going to dip any faster unless there's some crazy natural disaster or something like that that really affects the property values out there. Maybe some new legislation. Other than that, it's going to be tied to the rest of the economy, the local economy, which isn't a bad thing because the local economy here is quite strong. And home prices are more expensive in Utah compared to the national average. According to Zillow, the national average is $354,000, which seems low to me, but getting into, and I can guarantee this number is accurate, for the Utah average sold price is $640,000. And Cedar Hills is even higher than that at $668,000. And people always ask me, Cole, what's going to happen in the market? Are prices going to go up? Are they going to go down? Is it going to crash? What's going to happen? And I think it's going to be a lot more boring than what people think, because right now you have high prices and high interest rates. What we've been waiting for is for interest rates to come down to make housing more affordable. And because of job reports, inflation reports, the Fed hasn't justified being able to do that yet. But when that does happen, it will happen very slowly. They're going to trickle down the interest rates, which is going to make houses a little bit more affordable, make slightly more buyers come into the market, and that's going to raise prices a little bit, balance things out again to where the affordability is the same as it was before. And people think, oh, prices are just going to shoot up because all these buyers are going to flood into the market. And that could happen. But one thing that's going to counterbalance that, along with the slowness of the interest rates coming down, is you have a lot of people sitting on their equity, sitting on their killer interest rate from 2021, and they want to get out of their house. They want to sell it. They want to buy a bigger one, but they can't afford it yet. But once interest rates come down enough, it's going to be enough for them to justify selling their house and buying a new one, bringing more inventory to the market. When they bring more inventory to sell their house, it's going to counterbalance all of those buyers flooding into the market. It's going to be boring. It's going to level out. It might become more affordable. It might become a little bit less affordable. It's not going to make a huge difference unless you purchase with a high interest rate and you're just waiting for those interest rates to come down. You can refinance and just have a more affordable home, have lower fixed costs for your living. That would be great, but it's going to be boring. And if you're the type of person who likes to keep a pulse on what's going on in the Utah County market specifically, there is a Google sheet that goes out every week that gives you a breakdown of city by city, almost transaction by transaction. I give you everything I possibly can without violating buyer and seller privacy in Utah County. I created it because it bugs me. Only realtors can see this stuff, and I wish I could share with you all of it. It used to be that case, but due to legal reasons, I can't share all those things. I can share with you all I can, and it is in that Google sheet for free in the link below. Also, if you plan to move to Cedar Hills, there is a Cedar Hills cheat sheet below that will make your move a lot more smooth. It's free as well. It's just knowing who to call for utilities, internet, schools, things like that. Just a bunch of links for you they're just in one spot. So that's in the link below as well. And if you haven't decided where to live yet and aren't working with a killer real estate agent already, what are you waiting for? Just reach out. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see ya.